Hola a todos. Bueno, hi everybody. I'm sorry. I was having some things with the internet connections. Okay. Well, hi everybody. The purpose of this video is to to share with you some information regarding to the 12 triangles, these 12 points, energetic and stargate points in the Earth, and the relation to the constellation of Cetus. And precisely that's the muse, that's the inspiration and the importance of this quantum trip that we are having to the constellation of Cetus to um, to precisely give some response to what is happening right now at this moment, and that will be happening throughout the following 7 years in the Earth, and of course, as a consequence in humanity, or the way around in humanity, and therefore as a consequence in the Earth. So, um, by visiting through this quantum trip, the constellation of Cetus, we know that from the holographic field, we are ourselves a hologram. We are geometries. And when we tune into that field and commune with it and interact with it, then we are capable to manipulate the reality within that field at that scale. Therefore, having, let's say, more precise results that are capable to influence the matter. As I mentioned, we are interacting from a higher evolutive scale. So when we say, or when I say, traveling to Cetus, to the Cetus constellation is an informational field. Let's say it's a sphere full of information, full of codes, and that sphere is embedded in the human hologram. Now, when one is not aware that that informational field is existing and it's pulsing at any specific range within the spectrum of life of the human hologram, then that generates kind of a leak, which is not really a leak, as for the universe there is no leak. However, it results as an incoherence. Let's say that what we would consider a leak within this reality, an energy leak, it is translated in quantum physics as an incoherence. So there is an incoherence in between what we know that exists and the wholeness of what it is. We can relate it to that space, that 99.9999% of information that is not aware of what it is. However, it's there and it's shaping the matter. So when we make conscious that sphere of information, then it comes to a point or at a scale within our hologram that we are capable to manipulate it, to choose from it. And when I say manipulate it, I say it like how we manipulate the clay, how we are capable to manipulate information as a piece of art or as something and then transform it into a masterpiece. So what does the hologram of Cetus, what does this informational field has to or has been nourishing with the human hologram? Well, Cetus is related to the whale. Cetus is related to this level of evolution that relates to forms of expression, of emission that go beyond literal manners. Like, for instance, what the word is, how expressing through the word is. And by this, I mean the sonolocation. Like, the sonolocation would be sort of like the telepathy, expressing through telepathy. Why? Because through telepathy we are emitting information waves that are expanding through that space that would be in this case with the whales, the water, and it's communing and it's interacting with this space. Then this space is shaping that informational field, that informational waves, communing with their own codes, and then reaching from body to body. And then you receive the message. Well, then this involves like integrating within the human hologram, making conscious that this capability of sonolocation translated into telepathy is a possibility. And this is not new. Of course, if you're watching this video, it's highly probable that you are aware that as a human, the telepathy can be and it has been already developed from a considerable amount of humans. And this would also relate to the clarividence or clairvoyance and telekinesis and many other assets that are a possibility, that are a reality, a compromise to be embodied by the human hologram. How a compromise? Well, it's a responsibility, a conscious responsibility that for the people that have embodied in order to fulfill the whole hologram, in order to achieve and embody the full potential, to actually connect with all this information, and not only connect with all this information, yet, as I was saying, to embody. And this is one form, one way to embody, actually, by consciously unfolding and igniting the full hologram, full spectrum of light, and then mold and shape the human hologram to its true origin, to its true nature. Now, how will this be achieved with this quantum trip? Well, the informational field of Cetus has very important codes, as I was saying, that are embedded in a specific points of the holographic, the human hologram. Now, where are those points? Imagine that you are putting the Cetus constellation in your body, and then it's coming together. Now, of course, here we will have a specific points of reality that they don't fit symmetrically, that maybe one of Cetus points doesn't fit in your hologram anymore. Well, and this is where the true nature of shaping that space comes. And this is why I will be guiding this connection, the connection through this trip. And yes, maybe the disconnection to some anchors that are not necessary anymore. So this precisely leads to the second part of the video, which is the 12 triangles. And the 12 triangles in the earth, and that are also represented in the human hologram, we could refer them as a linear manifestation of what the zodiac wheel is. The linear part being represented as a bidimensional form in the earth, and the zodiac wheel being represented in this Vitruvius shape in the human hologram. Okay, so I will be very precise in this video because I will be extending all this information throughout the Telegram group that I will be also sharing the link in the description of this video, so that the people that is in resonance and that chooses to join the quantum trip, then you can do so. And Yes, I know it's a very peculiar way to refer to the connection to the constellation of Cetus. However, is what it is, and actually we are talking about reactivating the arcs reactivating the ships. So one of these literal, to say it somehow, analogies is precisely to know that we are performing a trip, a quantum field in a ship. This ship, the name is the icosahedron, which is an icosahedron that generates a compression and extends into a 12 triangle ship with 14 hexagons. So this irregular polygon is not only a icosahedron, it's a icotetrahedron as well. When it's expanding and compressing. And each one of these geometries is embedded precisely in the 12 triangles. The 12 triangles are embedded in the 12 triangles connecting with the Earth. Being these 12 triangles, the 12 gateways of accessing from other dimensions to the Earth. So when we talk about the theory or this concept about the cosmic egg, well, this is pretty related because we know that the Earth is constituted by in different layers, of course. So if we go directly to the nucleus, well, when the Earth is presenting all these motions like the rotation, the translation, and the peg top, which is this motion. If you saw the movie of Inception, then you know that they have this tool that is spinning, and that this spin is the motion precisely that the Earth presents throughout its rotation and its translation around the sun, and that it's a peak top, a peg top motion. Okay, and this precise motion generates a very considerable impact in the Earth nucleus and, of course, in the Earth's magnetic field. Now, when we connect with these 12 points, they have a specific location of 30 degrees on the north from the equator and 30 degrees on the south in relation to the equator. And from each triangle to each triangle, a distance of 72. So these numbers, the 30 and the 72, are very important as every number and as every geometry, because the 72 is related to another code, which is the 72, well, among many others, the 72 names of Yahweh, which if we translate it into as a binary code and how the holographic quantum machinery is contacted through the technology into the quantum field, well, it's through a binary code, and this is related to how the 72 names of Yahweh, being 216 letters, are unfolded and are infinitely delivering specific algorithms that throw the present probability to be embodied. So I won't go deeply into this topic in this video. I'm just mentioning it to see how through the hologram all these codes are embedded, and this ubiquity is translated in every field at every scale. So like these algorithms, these patterns, these geometries, and of course the dodecahedron. Now, in communion with the dodecahedron and in relation to Cetus and Ophiuchus, because then you can see, okay, then we have all the the zodiac wheel covered with in between the 12 points in the Earth. So where does Cetus and Ophiuchus go? Well, the connection that will be delivered through this quantum field is that there are other two triangles in as the Stella codes, and these two other triangles are connected to the summer or the spring triangle and the winter triangle. The spring triangle is connected to the constellation of Aquila, Alter, Cygnus, Deneb, and the other point, which is in the constellation precisely of Alter, Deneb, and there is a Ophiuchus precisely. There is a reason of why it's not. It wasn't manifesting. It wasn't showing up. Well, and the other point of the triangle of winter, it's connected with Procyon, with Sirius, and with Betelgeuse. So these 3 points and the other 3 points, when they are connecting, they conform the 13 and the 14 triangles from above, which actually are, I wouldn't say antipodal, but one is on one side. Well, they are, let's say, one is just close by, next to, not close by, next to Orion, and the other one would be closer precisely to the serpents and, of course, Ophiuchus and Aquila and Cygnus being parts of the very same triangle. So, well, and then we have these 2 triangles connecting with the other 12 triangles. So we have the connection in between the higher realms, to say it somehow, and with the Earth realms, okay, or actually more than Earth, underground realms of the Earth. Connecting these 14 points, how would it be important for the human hologram? Well, if we are saying that we are talking about activating the full potential of the human hologram, then awakening and restoring to the true nature, to all these points, to these Stella codes, is very important, because these 12 triangles, let's say that they are interconnected to the Earth's nucleus. And it has been said that when people are interacting, surrounding this, or getting closer to these triangles, then one of the first things that manifest is the magnets collapsing of the compasses. So this is showing an anomaly within the magnetic field. Like, you can connect with the north point, however, not to the north within the magnetic field. So this anomaly can be referring precisely to this peg top motion. And if you watched the movie Inception, then you know what this peg top motion is related to, precisely when the realities are merging and you're capable to go into another dimension. And this is precisely what happens when the spaceships go, or the ships are, or go from the surface, go deep within the Earth's nucleus in order to connect to other points beyond the Earth's electromagnetic field, like going to the stars, let's say, to the Duat, how the ancient Egyptian used to call it. So, well, these 12 points, there is something about it. And if we say that there is an interferential field of how all the technology was created and how the simulation is created, and that, for instance, the emissions coming from the photonic belt of Alcyon cannot reach the human hologram and therefore all the reality because of this interferential wave, and then we can consider the local fluff, and then we can consider all this compression, this planetary compression upcoming in the next months, and that I have been sharing in another videos that will be happening, that it's already happening, and that this green comet gave the news flash that all this was beginning, and that has now been expressing through everything that has been happening in the earth, like the earthquakes and the fire in Chile and in Hawaii. So something initiated, and this is the result of all the planetary, this astrological motion that will be happening for the next months and years. And that we are capable, like being aware of this, we are capable to align and to generate resonance from the human hologram. How? By precisely igniting the full potential of it. And this involves igniting Ophiuchus and Cetus, and by the forces opening the space from the two triangles, let's say above, which are not above, are in just a more subtle frequency within the human hologram. And once these informational fields are enabled, then the capability of regulating the other 12 triangles will happen. However, in this trip, it's only about connecting with the information field of Cetus, because the other mission leads to more precise, to a more precise and detailed endeavor. However, I will be sharing information about this because these triangles right now at this moment are presenting, well, are fulfilling a role of being the pillars for when the energetic poles of the earth shift. So this is how how important this is. So playing the 12 pillars within the hologram and within a torsion motion, restoring it to its true frequency, then it allows for each human to emit the coherent emission, to emit the coherent frequency in order to generate resonance with the earth and with everything for when this moment happens, this moment that is been talked about more and more and more. And that when we find out, as for instance Nassim Haramein has been saying, that and that now the scientific community is sharing more this information, that the fact that the planet, the planet Earth and the system is inside a black hole, then we know that the theory of the Big Bang is a little bit off somehow. It relates and involves different realities, and that this has been actually confirmed more and more and more because of the James Webb Telescope. So all this reality coming into the light of the awareness within human conscious state of consciousness, so brings that if the nucleus is presenting a torsion motion soon, and that torsion is pretty whole, like the Cetus as a hologram, as a sphere full of information, is holding the space for this to happen. How? Because if Cetus and Ophiuchus are in resonance with the moments when the equinoxes happen, then these moments are, I mean, related. Okay, this is very important. I'm not saying precisely and exactly, except for Cetus. Like they are representing the resonance in between those moments. Like they're holding the space. There are the pillars for those two, like the energetic pillars for when that events happen, the equinoxes. So they represent the two poles, or let's say the nadir and the zenith, which is the highest point, the zenith and the nadir, which is pretty related to the solstice. However, these points are showing the balance, the equilibrium. Okay, the vector equilibrium. Okay, but wait, wasn't the vector equilibrium constituted by 3 points? Yes, that's when they merge and generate a singularity. So, and this is also pretty related to the yin yang, and this is what it happens when the energetic poles fusion. They're not compelling each other, they're not creating all this collision. No, they're merging. They're merging through, through a vacuum, and then generate this stability. And so, but before, in order for that to happen, then a lot of motion is involved. So when the human hologram is not in resonance with all that motion, why? Because it's at another rhythm, at another rate, at another intermittence. Why? Because it's following consciously and unconsciously another algorithm of time, which is the 1260. Then it generates a dissonance, and then it generates to be not in synchrony with the earth. So this is very important to align to the true poles. I mean by this, in bottom line, the calendar, the Gregorian calendar, is to finally be known as a system that is not in synchrony with the cosmos, with the earth. So this is where the T4 444 comes, which is a cyclic system that I am conveying, and that is focusing in this and many other aspects, such as even the ninth planet, the resonance of the ninth planet. So thank you very much for watching this video. I will be sharing more information. And well, if you're interested in joining the trip, you can access to the Telegram link that I will be sharing in this description. And see you soon. Hunu.